Yo, what's going on, guys? Sing here. So back at you with another video. This time, talking to you about this Assistant General update that just came out. Man, they finally did it. They've been talking about this for some time now, and it finally happened. Big news. A lot of changes that are going to happen with the game. And man, I mean, the whole Ascension thing really made generals pretty strong, and the top cap for generals pretty high, and well, yeah, this whole assistant thing's going to be pretty big too. It's not that crazy, I think. I mean, I think the top cap with this is going to end up being impacted most by runes, and I think it's fairly important you make a really good decision here on what your assistant general is going to be because of that. We all know how hard it is to get runes and whatnot, and yeah, so because of that, I'd recommend not rushing into any decisions on which assistant general you end up picking, and putting your runestones into until we make sure that the update remains what the update's going to be. Because I have a feeling that they may or may not stick to this update. So, for those of you that don't know, the way it works is with these marches, you get this second general over here. And for example, if I wanted to attack with a range general, let's just say Electra, I could bring a second general. So for example, let's just think of, all right, I have Minamoto over here. So I could attack with Electra and then bring an assistant general, and Minamoto would be my assistant general there. And for Minamoto, if I had skill books on him, his skill books would come along, and this first skill is what everyone's kind of trying to figure out. Is well, I think we're pretty sure that because he's not the one leading the army to attack, this skill won't be applied. So most of the generals in the game, either on defense or offense, are read as their buff will be applied when the general's leading the army to attack. So this one's saying the attack of the ranged troops that are led by the general are increased by 25%. The ranged troops are increased by 25%. So the language for Minamoto is different. It's because Minamoto is an OG general. For anyone that played the game back in the day, this is one of the before. I think Lee Shimin was the OG, and then this was the first big release general after that. That was pretty good. So I don't know. Anyway, the language is reading different for a lot of these generals, and to be honest, I think a lot of players are having two trust issues with the game. It's one, believing the truth behind what this text means, and then two, believing if this update is going to stay the way it is, meaning is it going to remain where this skill doesn't, if this leading to attack language is going to never play an impact. Are all the languages going to change? So there's a lot of confusion right now about that. And the other thing is the gear that the general wears would not apply, and the the gear won't apply, and I don't think the actual power of the general applies. It's the skill books and the specialties that apply. Those are, from my understanding, those are the two big impacts on the assistant general feature. But yeah, there's some crazy things happening already. People are killing 5 Ymir 5s, when they were able to do 1 or 2, and they're getting no wounded. And people are doing buy bars plus the Nathaniel person, getting double drops. And so if that's working, both of them say leading the army to attack. So maybe it's working the way this language is saying leading to attack. Maybe leading to attack is working. So I'm not quite sure. There's going to be some testing that needs to be done. We're going to need to have theories that are tested and then proven or not proven based on experiments, very well thought out and very well tested in a PvP format. That's the only way we can prove all this stuff. Evony doesn't. There's no one to speak to at the game. There's no one to communicate with. So there's no way to tell. But that's the update so far. That's my thoughts on the update so far. Pretty cool. I'm curious to see how this works on defense. I mean, the first like creative thought I'm having is like about the skill books in terms of like different speeds, like ground speed, cav speed, different siege ranges, march sizes for both the on defense, and having siege range on range generals, and then cav speed on the second general for calves, and ground speed on the second general for ground. Like there's a lot of different things that you could think of to get this to work. So I think it's a kind of a good update actually. Only thing is it does increase that the gap again. Not everyone has two good generals like with specialties and everything. Like, I know Defak doesn't have, I mean, I think he's got, does he have any runes on his second general? I think he has, no, I don't think he's got runes on his second range general really. So okay, so he's got a second siege general with some runes, but not everyone's going to have this type of stuff, I think a lot of people have a lot of the first runestone and second runestone that are around like this size, or like, have spent some money and stuff. Like they should have extra first and second runestones that they can probably put on second generals. So maybe these are the skills that you want to check out and see if you can, use them on a second general and stuff. But otherwise, yeah, it's still something that everyone's figuring out right now. But big thing is, I wouldn't invest heavily in your second general right now. I wouldn't rush any decisions. Like, I'm sure there's probably glitches and bugs, and this is kind of broken right now. Maybe it's not working the way it's supposed to work. I would give it some time. If there is something that you found that's OP, just use it until, let me know about it. Just use it, until they patch it or don't patch it. And that's about it, really. And if they keep it the way it is, and we all feel comfortable that, okay, this is the new meta and this is the way the game's going to be played, then we'll do it that way. But if not, then we'll roll with the changes. But those are my initial thoughts about this. Big update, a lot to chew, a lot to think through, a lot to test, and figure it out. It's confusing a lot of people. But it's this is a strategy game, and this is actually kind of nice. I kind of like the whole strategy aspect of this game. So for me, it's kind of fun to chew through. But those are my initial thoughts, guys. Yeah, don't freak out too much. Kind of cool. I'll see you.